Hello, oracles. Well, the market drama picked back up today. We see a bit of red today across all indices. Not a pretty day today. We had Kevin McCarthy being forced out as Speaker of the House. We have extreme fear coming back into the markets when we thought maybe we were rebounding after the ugly end of September. But here we are, going even deeper into extreme fear. Will we keep on going down further? Will we rebound from this soon and have a green October to finish? And we'll discuss how well Tesla held up today despite being down 2%. So we'll take a look at all these numbers in just a minute. All right, so looking at the charts today, again, down 2.02%, closing at 246.53. And yeah, we were down 2%, but the broader market, the NASDAQ was down 1.86%, and Tesla with a beta of 2.0 would typically be down about 4%, but it did not drop that far. And as we can see here, even though we had that miss yesterday when it came to the delivery report, again, we still didn't sell off that much after that. So we are kind of consolidating right now. So looking at these numbers here, it's probably one of these situations where we're just kind of waiting to see what earnings look like. Now, again, we discussed it yesterday when it came to deliveries, where most analysts in the market knew what was going on and why Tesla had missed their deliveries. So now they're really going to be focusing on Q3 earnings to say, all right, well, we knew that you missed on the deliveries, but what are you going to show us for Q4? You're now telling us that we're looking at 1.8 million vehicles. That still hasn't changed for the entire year, which now means that Q4 numbers are a minimum of 475,000. Wall Street estimates right now are around 493,000. Gary Black is thinking that Wall Street is not going to change those numbers. I agree. I don't think they're going to change. I think Tesla has the potential of hitting 500,000 deliveries in Q4. Reason being that we do still have some inventory carrying over from Q3 into Q4. We have a lot of the Highlands that were produced that now still need to be delivered. They were not delivered in Q3. They're all going to be backed up and ready to deliver immediately in Q4. We will pay attention to what we get out in China for the insured vehicle numbers because that'll give us an indication as to what that buildup of those Highlands were to get delivered out in the first couple of weeks of this month. And then on top of that, we also got the rumors coming out of China that they're looking to get the Model 3 production up to about 120% of what it was prior to the Model 3 shutdown going into October. So if they can produce even more vehicles with a high Highland demand, then that means that we are going to have a much stronger Q4. And Q2 saw over 460,000 vehicles getting delivered. So hitting 475,000 for a minimum of 1.8 should not be a problem. So getting to 500,000 could be definitely doable. So I'm going to be updating my entire forecast for the end of the quarter in the next couple of weeks. Just got a lot going on in my life with moving and stuff. But once I get that updated, I'm right now between 475 and 500, and I'll dial that in deeper for you guys as the month goes on. And now quickly looking at TSLY also, just a reminder, we do have the X date that is coming out this Friday. On Thursday, we will be finding out what the payment will be. My prediction is 63 cents per share, and we will find that out on Thursday. Thursday is also going to be your last chance to purchase this before the X date to get paid out that dividend. So today, it only fell 1.52%. So one of the caveats when it comes to these yield maxes is there is no limit to the downside of this when it comes to the stock itself. So if Tesla falls 2%, TSLY could easily fall 2% also. It did not. It only fell 1.5%. So that is holding up strong also. And so the big news today is Kevin McCarthy getting removed and voted out as the Speaker of the House. The U.S. House has voted to remove Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker. This is a developing story, but Kevin McCarthy has been removed as House Speaker, the shortest serving speaker since 1839. The House of Representatives is conducting a historic vote on whether to remove Speaker Kevin McCarthy from his position after he was unable to quell a rebellion within his Republican Party's right-wing faction. Representative Matt Gaetz initiated the challenge by introducing a resolution to declare the speakership vacant, which necessitated the House to address Mr. McCarthy's fate. An earlier effort by Representative Tom Cole to table the measure, effectively ending it, fell short by several votes. In a vote 218 to 208, Democrats and 11 Republican hardliners rejected Mr. McCarthy's attempt to thwart the motion's progress, paving the way for a vote on his removal. This marks only the second time in modern House history that such a vote has occurred, and if successful, Mr. McCarthy would be the first speaker involuntarily removed from office. Since Mr. McCarthy is removed, there is no clear successor. The absence of a speaker would effectively paralyze the House until a replacement is chosen, and an interim speaker, selected from a list prepared by Mr. McCarthy at the start of the year, would primarily oversee the speaker election. The House and Senate must pass appropriations bills to fund the federal government before mid November to avoid a shutdown. Far right Republicans have criticized Mr. McCarthy for relying on Democratic support to pass a temporary spending measure to keep the government operational. Mr. McCarthy expressed no regrets about his actions in keeping the government open, citing the need for continuity and avoiding political gridlock. He reiterated that removing a speaker with the significant support in their conference could harm Congress's ability to function effectively. During a closed door meeting, Mr. McCarthy received numerous standing ovations from fellow Republicans. The outcome of this historic vote could significantly impact the balance of power and leadership in the House of Representatives. And so, what makes this important is yes, we're not in an election year right now, but you know full well every time we get to an election year, election time draws a lot of uncertainty in the market. And that's why we get the September effect. That's why typically, especially during election years, September and October can be very turbulent times because the uncertainty, we talk about it all the time, uncertainty is the one thing the market likes the least. Even if it's bad news, if they know what that news is, they can at least price it into the market. But if they don't know what the news is going to be, they don't know how to price things, and the battle is all over the place. Volatility goes up significantly. That's kind of where we're at right now. Right now, we have a market that doesn't know what's going on with the House of Representatives. What is going to happen? Are we going to get a Congress that's going to be more in favor of one thing or another? Are we going to get things to shift? Really truly don't know at this point. That is what the uncertainty is. That, along with the treasury yield going up today, caused the market quite a bit of a sell off. So now we're in uncertainty territory. How long is this going to last? Truly don't know. It could last until we end up getting a new Speaker of the House. It could just rebound right away, and maybe the market isn't too concerned about what's going on with the House Speaker. Again, nobody knows what the future is going to hold. What I do know is that we are in extreme fear territory, down to 17. These are the lowest levels we have seen since the pandemic started. So this is extreme fear territory. Now, I always go back to what Warren Buffett has said, which is be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy, because people follow the mob. So when everybody is all excited and being greedy and thinking, oh, this is never going to come down, it's typically when it's going to start coming down. Those are the times you don't want to be buying. Those are the times you want to be selling if you are a person who does swing trade. On the other end of things, like where we're at right now, when everyone is scared and panic selling all of their stocks because, oh my gosh, I'm in the red, those are the times you want to buy. When somebody's willing to sell a security that they thought was going to be valuable long term, and they're now selling it for less than they purchased it for, despite the fact that they purchased it at what they thought was a good value, now selling it for less doesn't make logical sense. Again, what is the main purpose of the stock market is buy low, sell high. So why is it that anybody would be selling on a downswing like this when it's nothing having to do with a company's fundamentals drawing down the price? It's just a market sell off. That's the time to buy. So when I see extreme fear, I read extreme buying opportunity. When I see extreme greed, I see extreme selling opportunity. That's the way I am viewing the market when it comes to fear and greed. Right now, being in extreme fear, this to me is a great buying opportunity. So obviously, you want to take a look at all the other things around in the market. Is this going to continue coming down further? Are the companies you're in going to be good long term? And most importantly, right now is knowing that we're going to be having higher interest rates for at least a year. Are the companies that you're invested in going to be able to survive high interest rate environments for at least the next year? That's very important to follow. If you can answer yes to those questions, then why would you not want to buy now? If you thought a company at 10% higher valuation was a good buy, why would you not want to buy more now? Not financial advice, but that's just the logic that I use and the logic that many successful traders, including Warren Buffett, who's an investor, not a trader, does and is very successful with it. So that's my 2 cents on that piece. But I know today I made quite a few buys myself. I've created my whole new strategy for those of you guys who watched the video yesterday on my dividend game. That is what I have going forward. Most of that is ETFs. I am now working on phase 2, which I will present to you guys at the end of this month. Now that I have all of those ETFs in line, I'm going to be consolidating all of those and picking 16 different companies that I'm going to be investing in starting in November. So truly, when it comes down to it, it's just my way of kind of getting my footing underneath me, figuring out what I want to do. Now I've got a better semblance of what I'm trying to do for the future. And truly, when it comes down to it, is ETFs, index funds, they're great to be in. You're going to get a decent return on these. In some cases, you can get 7, 10, 12% on these, which is a great return. But if you're looking for something more like 20 or 30% or more, it's really a stock picker's paradise out there. You go out and you pick the right companies to be in, almost kind of create your own little ETF and your own little basket of stocks. You do that and you do that well by picking the right companies, you're going to outperform any of those ETFs all day long. So, again, ETFs are great because somebody else is doing the work for you. You're going to get some nice returns, much better than leaving your money just sitting in a savings account doing nothing, actually losing money because of inflation. But by putting it into actual companies themselves and paying attention and monitoring those fundamentals, you can do a lot better than just being in an ETF. You do need to put the work in. It's not going to do it for you. It's not going to get you rich quickly, but you're going to get better returns in the long term by doing that. And so, again, at the end of this month, I'll break out for you guys the 16 different stocks that I'm going to be purchasing and what my entire strategy is. So, again, I've broken it down in my different categories. So, that ETF dividend game that I showed for you guys yesterday is going to be one of the pieces of that entire puzzle that's going forward. So, that was phase number one, and phase two is putting it all together in my entire portfolio. Again, all members and patrons will see all of these updates as the month goes on. At the end of the month, I will disclose the entire plan to everyone once it is finalized. And again, it's never fully finalized. Always got to pay attention to what the fundamentals are. Always pay attention to the companies that you're invested in. Even Tesla, we track it regularly on here. You guys know that. But always pay attention to make sure that the company is moving in the direction that you want it to and growing your portfolio. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know what stocks you guys picked up today. Let me know if you added more to your TSLA. I know Peggy is looking to get himself up to 700 shares. I got to check in with him. He was really close, so he might actually be there now. So I'll check in with him, or if you guys are over on X, I'm sure he will announce it if he has gotten there. But very excited for him. I'm looking to get myself to 100 shares myself. I'm just over 73 now. So depending on where the stock price goes, I should be able to get to 100 very soon. So otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.